Away to the land of beer and cheese, the heartland of America. A trip through the back roads of Elkhart Lake might find our drivers getting ready for round 8 at Road America in the Absolute Beginners IndyCar League, featuring the new Dallara IR-18 IndyCar. Coming at you live from the Badger State. Welcome back for another GSRC presentation. I'm your host today, Sean Ambrose, and in the chair next to me is Dawson, Never Say Die Brock. In the director's chair today, the doctor of pistopology himself, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. Now, over the next few minutes, we'll get you up to speed with the Absolute Beginners Indy League and what they have in store for us today. But folks, the drivers had a couple of weeks to cool their heels since Gateway, and today it's back to the road on this monster circuit. Last time we were with you, Henry Bennett led the field home to victory. And we'll talk about how that affected the championship standings in a moment. Gateway also yielded big points for Liam Quinn and Matt Kingsbury as they completed the podium in that race. Yet again, though, we find ourselves back on a road course, and not just any one, this one. Now, let me introduce my booth mate, Dawson Brock, and bring him in to talk to you about this one, Road America.
Located outside the picturesque village of Elkhart Lake, just an hour north of Milwaukee, sits this beautiful 14-turn circuit. Established in 1955, the 4-mile track has many elevation changes that offer great viewing opportunities for the fans. Road America currently hosts the IndyCar and Xfinity series, along with many others. It is considered by many as the best test of road racing in North America. To get a look, let's hop on board and take a ride on the GSRC Dallara IR-18 and take a ride around Road America.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC DW12, so let's do a lap around Road America. Turn 1 comes after the longest stretch of the track, but still, it's going to require some guts to outbrake someone into this medium-speed 90-degree corner. The important thing is to avoid putting a wheel off into the grass on the outside. From there, it's a short blast downhill into 3, which has one of the most critical corner exits on the circuit. Failing to get a good run out of here is going to leave you vulnerable to attack down into 5. At worst, they might even be able to breeze by you before the braking zone at the end of the long straight. And turn 5 really is your best chance at a pass, with it being the tightest corner after a long time on the power. Just be careful not to overshoot it by focusing too much on your opponent and not enough on your brake marker. From there, we start climbing back uphill and crest as we slow the car for turn 6. Loss of grip will be a serious problem here for anyone who brakes too late. From there, it's a small lift through 7, and you're now into the hurry downs. If you're close behind your opponent, a surprise pass into 8 is possible, though difficult. Not much time to relax though, because the track switches back and now you're into the carousel. It may feel unending, but you gotta be patient to be ready for when the time comes to punch the gas. And with the downforce that the big wings of the DW12 creates, you won't be off the power until Canada Corner. The kink doesn't require a lift if you hit it right, but at 180 miles an hour, it's still terrifying to execute. By now, we're into the kettle bottoms, which will gently bend left twice, and then you've got to line the car up for Canada Corner. This is another good spot for a pass, and if it's the final lap, it's now or never to make it happen. From the lowest part of the track, we climb once again up through the fast left-hand kink of 13, then hold left and make sure we get the line right into the final turn. Once again, focusing on your exit out of here is far more important, with it dumping you onto the longest stretch of the track. It's a steep run uphill past the pit entry, and if you got everything right, you finished a lap around Road America.
A winding trip up and down Road America and around it. Now let's wind our way through the point standings. Race fans, in the Absolute Beginners Indy League, there are 2 championships. One for individual drivers, the second for teams. Teams are limited to no more than 2 drivers. Now, let's look at those standings here. And driver standings first, we'll go with Henry Bennett. Big win last week, the maximum attack driver, now in first, 186 points. Jan Schwitter, by absence at Gateway, falls back to second. Liam Quinn up the ladder a little bit. Andrew Kinsella a little bit more. Matt Kingsbury with his podium finish, really affected by the big finish a couple weeks ago at Gateway by getting now into 5th. And he'll look for another big one today. I believe he's here. Did I see Matt Kingsbury? I don't see Matt Kingsbury, so that could be problematic for him picking up any points. But Let's look at the team standings here next. And right now it is Petronas Racing Team, Jan Schwitter, Ali Quokka. I expect that to continue to fall there, and that's going to open up opportunity for Bennett and Maximum Attack Racing as him and Ronco both here today look to score big points and pass Petronas. Sea Bottom Racing, 41 points back. Team Talent, 50. Last Hop Motorsports, Lockdown Racing there. Matt Kingsbury and Zach Novak, they're up a point into 5th. And again, don't see Novak here. And again, Kingsbury, a notable absence. So that looks to change again as we go into the next round, which will be 3 weeks after this one today. They are going to take a short break for Memorial Day. And let's see, Dawson, why don't you give us the race details here real quick, and then we'll cover qualifying real quick.
All right, as we said before, this is round 8 of 12. Today we'll be running 30 laps. You're looking at about 12 to 13 laps. We're going to expect to see 2 stops out of these guys. Open setups, guys can make changes throughout the race, and I think that's going to be very important today. 10 push to passes and 20 incidents, but as we have said before, them 20 incidents, you probably shouldn't come up on that, because by that time your car will have plenty of damage, and these Indy cars are very weak.
Yeah, well, they are certainly not what I would consider they're not tanks, and they are a little fragile. And boy, there are a lot of opportunities here to pick up wing damage on these curbs. That's going to be a big issue. You're going to be careful when you travel over these curbs in a few sections, especially here as they get down into turn 5. And that's really where we're going to see trouble today. Turn 5, turn 6, as they set up to head into hurry downs and on their way through the carousel.
Yeah, there's plenty of places throughout this track where in order to get that good run, you end up running over some curbs on the exit, and this Indy car is kind of hit or miss on whether or not it's going to accept them curbs or spin you out. And of course, there's plenty of grass too if you run too far out. And grass in this Indy car, the same thing. It's not very forgiving.
Well, as we look at qualifying right now, there's Henry Bennett. He sits on top currently with his first lap in, trying to get his second lap. Now, this is a 3-lap qualifying session. And they've allotted 15 minutes for the session, but 3 laps. Henry Bennett on top right now with a 1:39.6. And he gets out of Canada clean and gets here into the last turn. They'll get a nice run up the long straight here. Boy, and I'll tell you what, that's we talk about that long straight. That time. Let's see.
Looks like no time.
No improvement. Yeah, no improvement. Just a slight improvement on the time, and that keeps him on the pole. And there's Randy Cheneth on board with him. Randy already in 5th here on the qualifying order. The 140 flat. Look for him to pick it out. That was a nice trip through Canada there. And this last turn, so important. So easy to get too far out to the left there and drag a little bit of that grass and dirt back on with you. You lose the grip. Looks like Randy managed that well. Is it going to be any better? No. Randy just falls a little bit short on that one. Jamie Wilson on screen. Or now we've moved over to Ali Quokka. Quokka starting his 3rd lap, this looks like. Dawson, definitely a lot of passing opportunities here, but qualifying effort somewhere in the top 4 is still pretty important.
Yeah, you have the first couple turns and guys are going to get spaced out, but I think even with them passing opportunities, you want to get that car up near the front just to avoid that early carnage that we see a lot of, and it's kind of unavoidable. So getting a good top 4, like you said, a good spot to start this race off would be huge.
Yeah, and they're going to have to be a little bit cautious on the start. because turn one, high-speed turn, comes up quick. You come off a long straightaway and you get down into turn one, and the car really it's a tough turn in the sense that you're really fighting the resistance to try and go through their full speed, and I don't think it can be done in this IR-18. So it'll be interesting to see how they get through there, maybe 2, maybe even 3 wide in the first turn when this race opens up.
We'll also see these drivers do have the push-to-passes, so when they use them, I would assume you'd set it up for that long front stretch, get your passes done just as you cross the line. Maybe another opportunity is going into Canada. That should be another turn, but I would probably try and clear your guy before you try and go too wide through there.
All right, here's Fabian Youngbluth. And Fabian right now sitting in 10th in the qualifying order here. Jamie Wilson just moved up to P6 in his first lap, throwing down his first lap with a 140.7. That's a great way to come out of the box for him. And we could see him, boy, another great lap. We could see him maybe get up into the top 3, top 4 here. He's only separated by about, what about 4 tenths. There's Edgar Santinelli on screen. I think he's on his out lap here. I don't think he's gotten one in. Back to Fabian Youngbluth here. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to like that one. Don't know if Fabian's going to appreciate that lap, but that was tough. He's already slowed it down. So, tough break. Youngbluth, that was his last, so that will settle him into 11th now. Santinelli still out there trying to get a lap that qualifies. He's put in 2 so far, working on his 3rd. Okay, maybe this is an out lap. He must have spun it, came in, and let's see what kind of a lap he can throw down here. Looks like we're only going to get 14 cars today. Lots going on in the world today, and of course Mother's Day weekend, and so, you know, life goes on for a lot of people, but I'm sure the field will be stronger when we come back in June 3rd. We were just talking about that in the pre-race. So Dawson, let's look at the weather as we're watching the lap here. Edgar Santinelli. Conditions pretty favorable for racing. It's not blistering hot on track. It's partly cloudy, 65 degrees. A little bit of wind. That won't be much of a factor here at Road America.
Yeah, it seems like the weather's pretty consistent with what we got up here right now too. That little bit of wind, 8 miles an hour. I don't think that's going to affect these cars too much. That's not really heavy wind, but see Edgar Santinelli bringing it in.
Yeah, making that run just out of the kink, now down into Canada. Gotta hold it together here, not get too far out to the left. He does a good job of getting through there. See if he can get a lap to register, hopefully. Man, turn 14, just such a backbreaker for me. I can just never seem to get that one right. Edgar nails it. Coming up the long straightaway, gets across the line, and no time. So that looks like the grid there, and everybody gets a time in. Everybody except Edgar Santinelli there, but I'll tell you what, Dawson, let's go ahead and go to the grid. I will take the first 7. You can take the second 7. How's that sound?
Yeah, good.
All right, buddy. Let's do this. Henry Bennett going to start in the front row with Timu Ronco in second. Andrew Kinsella going to qualify third, right there along Jan Schwitter. And Dennis Garrison will start 5th. Jamie Wilson 6th. Dawson, go.
Randy Cheneth going to start 7th, putting down a 140.8. Then the fan belt, Johan Vanderbilt going to start 8th. David Third Degree Burns 9th. Michelle Rugenbrink to round out your top 10. Then Fabian Youngbloom 11th. Ali Quokka 12th. Thomas Kick 13th. And we just saw his lap. Edgar Sanchinelli going to round out the field in 14th.
All right. Now, we're 2 pit stops today. We think that window is going to be somewhere about 10 to 12 laps. Long race, going to be about 30 laps. What do you think about tires? You think you can get away without tires here today?
Boy, I wouldn't be surprised if some people maybe take that gamble, but I guess I'm not too sure how much these are going to wear and what we're going to be looking at, but what do you think, I guess?
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot. I think you look at it a couple different ways. I think one option is to get tires every time you come in. I think the other is to maybe double stint that initial run, and then on that last stop, that second stop, go ahead and take a run with new tires to the finish. So, again, with the temperature on track and the overall temperature outside, I just don't know if this track is going to beat up the tires that bad, unless, of course, you bring your own trouble on by burning those things up. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The strategy played out by a couple teams here today. Another one of the things we talked about in the pre-race, Dawson, is the strength of field. Over 3,200. And, what do we mean, folks, when we say strength of field? Well, everybody on the iRacing service, if you're watching for the first time, has what they call an I rating, the IR, and it could be as low as 0 and then as high as 10,000. There's only a few guys that I think, or maybe even one that's at that 10,000 level. But 3,200 is a very, very strong field. Every one of these road racers here today, I would say none of them are a slouch, Dawson. I think we're in for a great race of strategy today.
Yeah, you look through the field and you see a lot of guys way up there. Jan Schwitter, I believe, has our highest at 63.90. Ali Kolka, Henry Bennett, they're up there too, and even Dennis Garrison. So a very talented field. Everybody knows what they're doing. These guys you don't get that I rating by accident, or it's an earned thing. It's
right. You don't generally happen into it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and just to give a comparison to the field, the countries represented today, there's only 2 Americans, or at least 2 American club drivers in here, and Randy Cheneth from California and Edgar Sanchinelli from the Great Northwest. So, and only 1 Canadian. So North America, not very well representative here today. Andrew Casella being the lone Canadian with us today. So a happy Canada Day to him, although I don't believe it's Canada Day. But anyway, but we do get a ride around here with the pace car on board with Andrew Kinsella here. Director spinning the camera around for us just to give us a look here as they head under the Corvette Bridge. We'll get ready to unwind them here soon. It's about the halfway point through the course. This one's a bit of a monster, as I talked about in the opening. Of course, we've been to the Monster Mile, and Road America doesn't carry the nickname of the Monster, but when you talk about mileage, 4 miles and only 14 turns, this is one of the bigger road courses you'll come across.
Yeah, them straightaways make it really interesting because as a setup guy, what are you trying to do? There's plenty of high-speed corners, the carousel, the first 2 turns, where you're going to want that downforce, but all these long straightaways, I don't think you can get away with that. I think this needs to be a lower downforce car on a lower downforce track.
Yeah, and again, going back to the whole open setup thing, you wonder how much, if any, sharing is going on, and again, these guys with a higher I rating, they don't get here by accident. So you would think everybody has a plan going into this thing, and they've probably been here once or twice before. Road America being a very, very popular track for road racing. I would think that maybe there were some sacrifices made, but they were smart well thought out decisions that maybe led to a sacrifice in either downforce or more down, the lack of downforce or more downforce. But that will be a big deal here today. And well, we're about to get this thing cranked up. What were we going to say there, Dawson?
Well, I can tell you something. There's only 2 people in the 39s right now after qualifying, and both of them happen to be teammates. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Maybe not. Well, the roof pace car making its way now into turn 14. It will get ready to peel off pretty quickly here as it starts to climb up the hill. And we get ready to go in the absolute beginners Indy League here at Road America. The pace car is in, and boy, Henry Bennett didn't waste any time. He's off. Bennett gets away quick and leaves Kinsella just eating dust right now. Jan Schwitter getting the run on Kinsella. Going to move to the inside here as they head down into turn 1. This is what I talked about before. Turn 1, tough to get through side by side. Schwitter going to back out of it sooner, but man, look at the jump Henry Bennett gets heading down the hill here.
A great start leading to a great lead. Andrew Kinsella, Jan Schwitter, and Dennis Garrison all chasing in his tracks.
Yeah, again, that's just a great start by Bennett that set that off. We'll get into turn 5 for the first time, and we see one car out breaking himself to get in there. Who was that? Oh, Randy Cheneth, and now he's off. Randy having a little bit of trouble getting down into 5, and we talked about the possibility of finding that on board with him here. Coming down the Moraine sweep, and he just got on a little late. Then he has trouble getting back on track and just compounded the situation for himself. He drops all the way back to 13th as a result of that. Tough start there for Randy Cheneth. All right, back up front, though, it's still Henry Bennett. Now, Kinsella has started to close just a little bit. It's 0.6 of a second, the difference between the two right now. This will be for the completion of lap 1. Here we go. Bennett up the hill. You see Kinsella here getting in the toe, Dawson. Getting a nice run up the straightaway.
Not going to be enough to make a pass, but definitely helps. How about Timo Ranko? Really rough start there on that first lap, dropping 4 positions all the way back to 6th. Now he's under attack from Johan Vanderbilt from behind, but he's looking to maybe attack Jamie Wilson from the front.
Yes, good battle there here early. Long race ahead, though. Got to take care of the car here. Don't want to do anything too crazy. Not yet, anyway. Wilson does look good here, though. We ride on board with him and look back just behind there at Timo Ranko. Oh, and Burns having a little trouble back there. Gets passed by Randy Cheneth. Let's see if we can pick this up. We've got a replay here for you. Oh, Dawson, what'd you see there? Just too much brake?
It all happened under braking. There was no grass or anything. It just seems like he got on the brakes a little too hard, and that brake bias spun him around.
All right, let's go back up to the very front. Bennett still in the lead. Kinsella still looking for answers. Not much change here yet. Kinsella gotten within 0.6 and has fallen off just a tick. Jan Schwitter, the big surprise, caught in the middle here. No friends. A little over a second down to Kinsella, and now he's got to worry about Dennis Garrison. And boy, Garrison with a bold move there. Jamie Wilson side by side with Timo Ranko. That got intense there for a minute. Garrison able to get away from the craziness.
He was under attack by 2 guys, and it ended up Wilson going to be the loser in that situation. But boy, Ranko trying to make up for what he lost on that first lap.
Yeah, and Ronco now, well, obviously that was pressure on Garrison, but Ronco does have to be concerned with Jamie Wilson right here. Jamie just gets in there really deep that time. Oh. Well, I don't think you could have asked for a much better start to the race, aside from Randy Cheneth having a little bit bad luck there.
Yeah, so far, guys, getting really clean as we see Ronco going to go for the pass going into Canada, and Garrison's going to let him have it.
There'll be more time to fight.
Oh, yeah. Good, safe move early. Ooh, Jamie Wilson.
Yeah. Jamie made a slight mistake there, and look, it's opened things up for the fan belt. Johan getting up under him here. He's going to pass him. Got in the slipstream. Came around for the slingshot. Crossed the line. Vanderbilt up to 6th. Going to have the line into 1. A little bit shallow there on the entry. Not quite the perfect line, but enough for Johan to get around. And boy, Wilson, he thought about it. He thought about putting it there inside in the turn, but backs out of it. So right now, Johan owns the position.
Defensive line.
Wow. Just like that, Jamie Wilson takes it back. Randy Cheneth has now got himself back up to 10th. Got around, was that Ollie Quokka? Got around Quokka to do it. And, you know, they were actually, I was watching my timing and scoring. They were side by side for just a few moments there. I don't think Quokka quite done here yet. We'll see. Cheneth looks to be kind of pulling away at this point, but I don't know. We may not have heard the last of Ollie Quokka. We'll see. I think the real battle on track is really still this one here for 5th place. Dennis Garrison is being threatened by Teemu Ronco, and now Dennis Garrison in this mix. Jamie Wilson and Johan Vanderbilt not too far behind. Schwitter's still the guy they're chasing, though, here, Dawson.
Yeah, overall, Schwitter's still, as we said before, in no man's land. Boy, you know, looking farther up, Kinsella really hasn't lost much to Henry Bennett either.
No, it hasn't gained either. Jamie Wilson getting the move here on Dennis Garrison. Boy, these 3 drivers, Wilson, Garrison, and Vanderbilt, close to being attached at the hip right now. I think Vanderbilt's back there playing a game of just watch and wait for something to happen here in front of him. Youngbluth with a problem on track. Boy, and that looked like braking period. It looked down into turn 5. Let's watch on the replay. He's coming down the Marine sweep, and maybe just a bad brake bias adjustment right there. The car just snaps on him, Dawson.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think maybe looking at his mirrors a little bit, but a great job of him, if you saw there, got the car sideways and rolled it back off the track to get it out of the way of oncoming traffic. So good job by the Hedges and Benson car. Whoa.
All right, back to the lead here. Bennett coming up the hill, across the line, still the leader. 5 laps in. Yeah, it was also a fast lap there for Bennett. That's a fast lap, best lap. Everything you wanted to know. One nice, pretty package there for Henry Bennett. Now he's got the lead over Kinsella to about 1.1 seconds. Hasn't, I don't know if it's been the perfect race for Henry yet, but it's starting to look like one. Kinsella giving all the chase he can, but just, again, doesn't seem to have the pace that Bennett's got right now. Jan Schwitter is officially looking over his shoulder at Teemu Ronco. Ronco is on the way, and quickly. Ronco was a full second faster last lap around than Jan Schwitter.
Man, that first lap must have been really bad for Ronco because he's showing his pace now and working his way back up the ladder. Really impressive drive so far. You take away that first lap, this has been a great drive for Teemu.
Boy, it'd be a real kicker if he finished right off the podium. Just to come up short like that, and you go back and you look at the analysis of the race. Oh, and now Andrew Kinsella having trouble out of the last turn. Oh boy, it started on entry and then he lost it all the way through the turn, and he is going to be close to being swallowed up by Jan Schwitter. But boy, that's big opportunity for Schwitter and for Teemu Ronco. Here we go. Here's the replay. Kinsella's it looks like he just gets it wrong here on entry and then starts to lose the car. Yeah, he gets to the point of almost saving it, and I think maybe he got back to the throttle a little bit too much or too quickly there on top of that curb, and that's what sent him around. But man, we go back live, and he is in the fight of his life right now. As Jan Schwitter and Teemu Ronco have totally caught him. This is not fun anymore. This is a real battle.
After a pretty big mistake, now you're against two really good drivers in Schwitter and Ronco. You just got to gather yourself back up and keep putting down them laps and hitting your marks that you know you've been able to do. He's been putting down the pace of Henry Bennett, so he's just got to reset and go right back at it.
Boy, and Ronco, I tell you what, Ronco really smiling right now. You know, his last lap was the best lap of the race. That was a 140.9. So Ronco definitely seems to be getting comfortable, and Schwitter's around. Again, under braking, another car goes around. Jan Schwitter, the next victim, losing a lot of spots. Johan van der Belt having to change his line to avoid him. Ooh, that was close. Here's the replay, and Schwitter, again, just under braking there. Dawson, now the car gets around.
I don't know. I wonder what that is. Is that brake bias, or is it just you're stabbing the brakes so hard that the car is snapping? And that is unreal.
Well, you know, I don't want to use the new car excuse, but it is a new car. It does have different characteristics, so everything you knew about the DW12, you got to throw it out the window and really, really get into this. Look at this battle for second, though. Kinsella and Ronco. Ronco is really making it a fight here. Talked about him setting that fastest lap last time around, so we know he's got the speed. I really think Ronco's got a great opportunity to catch Kinsella. Kinsella took it really wide there, Dawson.
Yeah, I was watching. He was wide through most of the carousel and then got back in the gas, clipped the grass a little bit, and now you're seeing the result of that. A very defensive line from Kinsella. Really kills Ronco's run, and he's not going to be able to make the pass.
And as I said a few laps ago, you really don't want to press the issue yet. Kinsella with another mistake.
Just clipping that curb, barely.
And we do have some action in the peanut gallery, and Josh Herman out there seems to think that it is a brake bias issue. So we'll see. Ronco looking strong though, down in a 1. He backs out of it. I think this is an if, not a matter of if, but when.
Well, we've seen the speed Ronco's been able to put down, and as a driver in Kinsella, you're looking in your mirror, you're just waiting. Look at this huge run Ronco gets. This time he's going to let him have it, not going to take that defensive line. Great move by Teemu.
So Ronco into second. Schwitter up to sixth, got by Johan Vandenbelt. Oh, we've got someone here for a pit. David Burns in.
Car up on the jacks. He's taking tires.
I think this is a scheduled stop. 8 laps in, certainly fits within the window.
And remember, early on, David had a spin, so them tires really could have been hurting for him.
True. Very much true on that. Yeah, that could be more of a preservation issue for him as far as when he came in. Okay, let's look at Ollie Quolka real quick. Let's go back to battle for 10th, because Fabian Jungbluth is starting to apply his own little bit of pressure. And I'll tell you what, here we go. Here's for the pass. Jungbluth up to the outside, and he's got to get out of it there, but he's going to attack here.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, when Quolka pumped the brakes there going into turn 14, you saw what Jungbluth had to do. He really had to back out of it, and that cost him a really good run up the main straight. Randy Cheneth is in for his stop. Car just pulls into its box.
Down and away.
Quolka hangs on here. Jungbluth was giving it a look, and but right now it belongs to Quolka. Quolka having a pretty good drive himself, up 3 spots. Here we go, the battle for 4th. Dennis Garrison pressing, and Jamie Wilson just going to beat him to the turn. Wilson going to look to get a good entry and exit here out of 14. He does, able to get the power back down pretty quickly. Going to make it really tough for Garrison to get in the toe, and the good toe, all the way down into 1. I don't think that's going to be enough. He's not going to be able to attack from there, Dawson.
Yeah, and we keep talking about how important it is to get that run out of there. Garrison still able to gain some time on Wilson, even though Wilson had a great run. Now, if they don't get a good run and you mess that up, you add that along with that toe, and it's near impossible to defend a pass. Another thing I've been seeing a lot of cars getting a little extra lockup going into these turns, and I think that would go along with what we've been saying about the brake bias, and we're getting closer to pit stop, so guys care a little bit less about them tires.
Yeah, Johan Vandenbelt, in fact, is down and away, just completing his stop. He will, in fact, lead all of the cars that have been in for a stop at this point. Vandenbelt going to come out in 10th. Edgar Sancinelli hits the entrance to pits. Thomas Kick is currently sitting in his pit stall. He's been there for a while, though. I think he's got damage, and we might have missed something there with him. Yeah, actually, I had found it. I don't think we need to pick it up on replay, but Thomas Kick had his own little bit of trouble out of turn 14 about a lap and a half ago, and I think that's why he's still sitting on pit lane. He had to take a tow from there.
None of the leaders bringing it down pit road this time. They're going to stay out, get as many laps on them tires as they can.
So stretching it to 15th, and is that a possibility? Everything I have seen and heard from these drivers personally, not one of them made it to 15th. I don't know, or to 15 laps. just don't think you're going to see anybody take that chance today. On a 4-mile track, Dawson, is that the type of chance you want to take?
Oh, as you see, Fabian Youngblood going to bring it in the pits. I don't think so. I think this is a bad place to run out of gas. You know, that final stretch, even if you start sputtering out of the last turn, you got to go up a hill. So running out of gas here is really a bad idea. Now, I know they have fuel maps. I'm assuming that the fuel maps don't save you enough fuel to make it 15. Otherwise, somebody farther near the back would have taken that chance.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't want to run out of fuel. I want to run out of fuel anywhere. I don't want to run out of fuel here. Fabian Youngblood is in for his stop. We keep our eyes on the leaders and when they're going to come in here. Henry Bennett, still your leader. Timu Ronco in second. And our leader is in. Here comes Bennett.
Ronco stays out. Jamie Wilson stays out. Dennis Garrison staying out.
Kinsella is in.
So now the game is who has fresh tires and when do they take them. Henry Bennett, everybody who pitted this time will have one extra lap on them fresh tires, and they'll have that benefit of the short pit. We'll see how much of an effect that really has on these cars.
Well, Ronco just getting down into turn 5, coming up under the Corvette bridge. And I'll tell you, I don't expect to see him push it much further than this. And so that being said, I would think Wilson and Garrison will probably come in behind him. I just don't think you're making up any time by staying out at the moment. That's going to bring Henry Bennett. Henry Bennett will be the lead of those cars that have come in for a pit. The only one who hasn't behind him is Ale Cuoca. So I think we've seen just about everybody go up for tires. We have.
And I think a big factor to that is how quick the pit stops and tires are on these cars. Is Ronco going to bring it into the pits?
Yeah, there we go. And Garrison and Wilson going to follow right in behind. So now let's pick them up. Henry Bennett. He just gets now into Canada. Boy, it's going to be close. It's a long straightaway to get up. Bennett into 14. Makes the turn, gets back on the power. Up the straight. Schwitter, the only car that's rolling. He's actually just now into his box. And that's it. He goes by Ronco. Whereas Ronco has a great pit stop, Henry Bennett still with a bit of an advantage, but Ronco with that pit stop, it's at 2 seconds. So not bad. Ronco does pick up time. Kinsella back to third. Yeah, and you know, Bennett, I got a compliment on him on his pit stop too. It was really one of the best stops we saw out there amongst the entire field. But remember, they're still going to need one more. They're going to need a splash and dash to finish this race. Ronco under extreme pressure here from Kinsella. What's your strategy with the carousel, Dawson? It's always tricky for me.
I'm always, how fast can I get out of there? I kind of want to arc it so that my exit is as good as it can be, and getting on that gas early to get that run down through the kink and into Canada. So I guess when I go through the turn, I'm thinking I keep it wide, and then cut and go and get as much of a run as I can.
We're seeing this on screen. Kinsella really trying to attack. Had a good run out of 14, but Ronco just a little bit better. Makes it tough for Kinsella to get in the good toe. He's just going to run out of racetrack once he gets to 1. Seeing that Randy Cheneth has been off for a while, in the pits for about just over 5 minutes. I'm just afraid we might have... He's got heavy damage on the car.
Looks like he spun, got a little wide out of the corner right after Canada. Hit some curbs and slammed it into the wall.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love watching this battle here right now between Kinsella and Ronco. It is providing a bulk of the entertainment in this race. But just behind them, Jamie Wilson and Dennis Garrison are fighting it out amongst themselves. Jan Schwitter trying to get into that party. So none of these guys that have been up front for the most of the race showing any worse for the wear right now. I mean, Schwitter down 2 spots and Jamie Wilson up 2 spots. But that front 6 has been really, really good.
We saw Ronco go all the way back to 6th and then work his way right back up. You said he was a big part of the show so far. We've had the cameras on him a lot. And I think you'd be right. He's marched through the field kind of after falling back. Dennis Garrison and Jamie Wilson, they've been involved in it too. They've been getting past and passing each other. So great racing here in this top 6 so far.
Indeed. Garrison just not finding any answers yet. You know what? I'd be a little bit worried about the pace of Jan Schwitter. He seems to have gotten things back under control here. Schwitter seems to be putting, in fact, I'm showing the last lap, he was considerably faster than Garrison and Wilson. This trend continues, it's really going to turn into a 3-car battle, and it's really close to doing that now. Schwitter looking for big points here today. Somebody's going to have to step out and do something different, though, Dawson, if they want to make it a big point stay. I wonder who's going to be the one to try that, to try and do that.
I mean, I think Jan, if he can't get around these guys, I think he would be a great candidate to change up the strategy to try and get around them. I don't know exactly how he'd do that. Maybe pit early, pit later, get away from them and see if you can't outpace them rather than try and get around them the long way.
Yeah.
That's really the only crazy strategy thing that I can think of is pitting early, and it might be an option for some guys.
You know what, Dawson? I'm so glad you said that. I was thinking I was the only one that was crazy that thought, maybe here in a couple laps, you just come on in, top off, and get a full set of tires, or just top off and not get any tires at all and just get right back out on track. I don't know. Here we go. Schwitter setting up this move now on Dennis Garrison. It looks like Schwitter going to pick his pocket clean there and get himself now up into 5th. So as I suspected, Schwitter has found his groove again. And everybody in front got to be worried at this point, including the top 3 right now, Kinsella, Ronco, and Bennett.
Ooh, getting to Wilson's outside. He had a great run there.
He just keeps digging. Wilson's going to be a tough pass. I can tell you that. He definitely going to be a tough pass. The Hoisingfeld, Dallara IR-18 is fast. Wilson is good. He seems to be having a really solid run here today. He's 2 spots positive.
One thing I've noticed from Wilson's driving is he's been his ability to outbrake guys so far. He's been getting into the braking zones late and not allowing other guys to outbrake him into corners, taking that defensive line and braking late.
Yeah. That might be all he needs to do to keep him at bay. We'll see here. See Edgar Sancinelli coming into the pit. And Sancinelli currently riding back in 12th.
Schwitter gonna get the move done. Now getting a little loose.
Oh boy.
Boy. Garrison just avoids him.
Wow. So close. We're going to on board with you on Twitter here.
Great pass.
I think he just lost the grip there, to be honest.
Boy, that wasn't the snapping like we saw with the brake bias. That one just, the back end kind of went around.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. That was not a brake adjustment issue. That was all about just loss of grip.
See Garrison's on board. Just missing.
Well, a little bit of excitement there for us. Does change the complexion of that battle just a bit, though. Things up front still pretty well settled here, and Bennett now opened it up to almost 2.5 seconds. So it's not like he's actually running away from Ronco, but you got to start making some positive gains if you're going to catch him.
Yeah, he's not running away. He's slowly tiptoeing at a steady pace. That's what I would call it.
So if you're Bennett, you think about coming in now and getting it done?
No.
Do you try that from the lead in case someone tries to outsmart you? Okay. Do you want to be the first one to pull that move in case somebody else behind you is thinking the same thing, I guess is my point.
I think personally, if I'm in that situation, I'm waiting until somebody forces me to make that move. I think if Ronco was to bring it in now, Bennett would be able to bring it in the next lap and avoid being leaped. I guess so that advantage would only work to one lap. I think that's the nice chair that you sit in. You're able to mimic, and if somebody forces you to make a move, then they force you. You just do it and you go along with it, and you still have your lead.
Yeah, agreed with that. Definitely, Dawson. All right, let's see what. Let's run through the field real quick here. We've got they're going to come across the line. There's going to be 11 laps left, and we've probably still got a little bit to the pit stop unless someone decides to come in early here. But Henry Bennett at the top, and that's how it's been since the green flag dropped, except for when he came into the pits. But Henry just throwing it down here at Road America. Timu Ronco having a solid drive in second. And third, going to go to Andrew Kinsella right now. That's all as they started. Your podium at the moment. Jamie Wilson in fourth. Dennis Garrison, who's had an active race so far, but kept it clean, fifth. Sixth, going to go to Jan Schwitter, who is down a couple spots right now. And, well, we're still looking for something there, Dawson. No explanation for why he seems to be off pace today. Johan Vanderbilt completes 7. And, Dawson, why don't you take the last few cars here on track?
Yeah, Michelle Rugenberg, we really haven't talked about him very much. Kind of all by himself right now, running a good, steady race, and a solid 8th spot for him. He's up 2 positions. Now, going farther back, you have in 9th, David Burns, who's bringing it into the pits. Now, this is because he took that early stop early on. He took it at lap 9. Now he's in lap 19, looking to make his final stop. And just past him, Fabian Youngblood. He's going to take that 9th spot and move up from 11th to 9th so far. But he still has a pit stop to make.
Yep.
And going farther back, Ali Kwoka in 11th.
All right, there you go. So Burns coming in and getting that final stop done. He's off the jack and on his way out. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of the heavy hitters dive in right now. Maybe not. They all... Yeah, no, maybe... Well, here comes Vanderbilt. Now, he was a little bit further back, so I don't know if he's going to have to worry about traffic here in his stop, but maybe the leaders... That would have made him a little premature for them, but Vanderbilt, again, down the lane, going to get his last stop out of the way. Right now, looking back up front here, Ronco, Bennett, the gap's still just about the same. So Ronco doing a good job of keeping it close still. It's, what, just over 2 seconds. That's not an eternity. So I think Bennett's still feeling a little bit of pressure from that. He's certainly showing up in his relative and his mirror in most parts of the track here. Kinsella full another 3 seconds back from that. You see him in the back of that picture there.
You know, Ronco, he's in a position where if Bennett makes a mistake, and that's a big if that happens, he's in a spot to capitalize. But I just, with how good Henry Bennett has been, I don't see him giving that up.
Yeah, he hasn't given us any indication that he's mistake prone here today. That's what makes it hard to root against him at this point. He has been near flawless. Even the start of the race was just an incredible jump on the field. It's like nobody was watching or paying attention to what he was doing. So it has been a strong and solid day for Henry Bennett. He's going to just have a little bit of time left here. I think when he comes across the line, there'll be 8 laps to go. A big chunk of this race already gone. He's just got to stay focused here. David Burns chasing Ali Quokka. This is for 10th. This is not the first time they've been at it for this position.
Oh, no.
Hey.
Oh. Gets it loose.
Yep. Ollie loses the grip, but what a great job by David Burns. You watch the replay here. Ollie obviously is going to lose the grip here. The car's going to come around. Burns is just going to miss him. Just get through there. Quokka's car almost came back around so quickly that it almost hit Burns.
Yeah, he kind of took the scenic route through the sand beaches of Road America, but Quokka's car, as it spun out, I thought it was going to spin right back into him, but great job to keep that car under control. And Quokka, I mean, for spinning, he didn't lose that much time. Good job to recover.
I think that was a fortunate spin. Okay, here come the leaders down into the pits. Bennett, Ronco, Kinsella. So a little monkey see, monkey do up front.
Jamie Wilson says no, he'll stay out for another lap.
And so will Dennis Garrison. Yet another driver that came in, that was Jan Schwitter, is in also. Coming in for these second stops here. Long pit road here. Bogey time, not too bad though. It's been like just under 40 seconds today. Back to Ronco on screen there. Ronco being chased. Question is, can Kinsella get there? We'll see. We got a little bit of time left in this race. Not much. It's I would say if you have a position in mind that you want, you better get busy and go get it. Because the battles have really, honestly, since our leaders come in, they've really started to spread out just a bit. And I'd be nervous about my spot in this race right now, Dawson.
Yeah, boy, if you still have sand in your bags, you better get them out, because it's time to show your pace. There's no hiding anymore, I guess. And I think Henry Bennett's still doing a great job putting down great laps. Let's see, Jamie Wilson in. Dennis Garrison not. He's going to stretch it another lap.
I think Dennis just wanted to try and get one lap in here clean without anybody in front of him or in his way or him having to battle for position. This may just be as much of a breather for him as it is anything, and then he'll get another one when he comes back in for a pit stop here next time around. Jamie Wilson. Yep, there you go. Kinsella on screen there. Looks like he might be fighting a small connection issue. Hopefully not. Kinsella still chasing Ronco. Not that far back. It's only 2.5 seconds. Not an eternity. Kinsella just needs some consistency. A good lap or two. And he can be right there with him to fight for it.
Oh! Kinsella. His car snaps on him.
Yeah. Just seems like we've seen that too much today, Dawson.
Yeah, guys trying to get out on the power and just not quite being there.
Maybe this IR-18 proving to be a little bit touchier than we all initially thought.
Yeah. We've seen it on the brakes and even on the gas, so either way, this car... And I've wondered if it's just a setup thing with this being a lower downforce or what it is, but it seems like it's happening in the slow and quick corners.
All right, Garrison still on track. He's going to push it, I guess.
Huh. I mean...
Hey, Dennis out there having fun, man. He's...
Oh, yeah. Doing something different, at least.
Maybe he's... Well, and you know what? And we said it would take somebody doing something different to win this race. I don't know how he can... At this point, I don't know what the answer to doing something different is for him, but he's taking a big swing at it. He's got Bennett 21, just under 22 seconds behind him. Dennis is an old, salty, crafty veteran of sim racing, and I just gotta think that he wouldn't do anything to diminish a great run by making a bad decision. So he's got a plan here. There we go. What's he gonna do? He's gonna keep it on track. Dennis gonna go try and push it to 13. And he's actually gonna... Who's that in front of him? Fabian Jungbluth.
Yep.
All right. Garrett. Oh, there we go. Schwitter. Here's the replay. Jeez. Yeah. Not his day. When we get out of the replay here, we're going to... Johan Vanderbilt had his own trouble here. Here it is on the replay. He loses the grip.
Boy, and that's going to have a little bit of damage to go with it.
Yeah, that hurt the car. That definitely hurt the car. It hurt the suspension. It hurt the front wing. And he's in immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, right front is off the ground. He's not even touching the ground right now. He's in trouble. Tough break for our friend Johan Vanderbilt. Was having a really, really solid run. All right. Well, listen, it's still a lot of the same up front, man. Henry Bennett is in second. Dennis Garrison,
he's in.
Well, we think he's got to make a pit stop. Maybe he's sitting on fuel, and there he goes. He's not sitting on anything anymore. Dennis will get 13 laps out of the car and bring it in for a very important stop here. See where Bennett is on course. Bennett just now into turn 14. Making his way up the straightaway. Already across the start-finish line.
Garrison's car not on jacks. That was his idea, I guess.
Yeah, Garrison making a very quick stop there.
Gonna get out just in front of Jamie Wilson. How about that?
He's fighting for the spot.
On old
Garrison,
tires.
he'll fight to hold on to fourth. Hey, listen, I don't fault his strategy at all. Man, look at this. Wilson right into the gearbox. All right, well, Wilson going to get by Garrison. Garrison back to fifth. That's right where he started. Yeah, so not a loss for him. Well, it looks like, you know, we talked about the incident Vanderbilt had just a little while ago. Looks like that's going to be an ender for him. He gets out of the car, so he must have used that fast repair he'd already had. So that Dawson, did they have him or not? Did they have a spare car? No, they didn't have a spare car today.
Nope.
No, they did not. My bad. All right, that leaves us this battle on track. Wilson, Garrison going at it. 3 laps. Who's going to come out on the other end of this? Garrison had a great strategy that, well, kept him up here, kept him in the conversation. Can he go back and take that position back from Jamie Wilson? We'll see here over the next few laps. Only 3 to go. Dawson, you think Dennis has got one last blast in him here?
I hope he does, just for the sake. I'd love to see another good battle. Them old tires, though, you can tell are kind of hurting him. He's having a hard time keeping up with Wilson. Doing a great job getting into them corners there, as you see, but just doesn't seem like he has quite enough to maybe put a pass on him. I don't know how many push-to-passes he maybe has left. Maybe he'll save one of them and get that run up that big, long straight. Boy, it's not looking really great right now for Garrison.
Yeah, and the push-to-pass thing, you know, it's something that we have trouble tracking just because there's nothing from iRacing that tells us when, no data that we see that tells us when they're making that push-to-pass. But one thing you can see, and if we catch it from time to time, where the LEDs, where they're positioned in the air box just above their head there, that believe it says PP when they use that push-to-pass. You got to wonder if Garrison has used them all up. Oh, as Dawson, the push to pass. Do you save him? Do you use him early to get position, to get ahead of everybody? What's your thinking on that?
Well, boy, I haven't done much road racing in an IndyCar, but my guess would be, well, you have two decisions to make. You know, are you going to use them while you have the opportunity and the reason to use them? You know, early on, I mean, there's a chance that later on in the race, you're going to end up being around nobody and not really have to use them.
Right.
So do you wait and save them for the end in case you need to use them, or do you use them while you need to use them? I think personally, I'd use them. I would go probably half and half. Know that I have 5 for early in the race and 5 for later in the race, and kind of spread it out, the average with it.
Well, if I'm Dennis Garrison, I'm wishing I had 1 or 2 left. I don't think he's got it. They about halfway around here. We're going to find out real soon what Dennis Garrison's got left in this car. Our leader, Henry Bennett, now into Canada. Bennett getting ready to come across and take the white flag here in just a moment. Ronco has slipped to 3 seconds behind, and to complete the podium, Andrew Kinsella is another 8.4 seconds behind. All right, Bennett coming around for the last time. It's all about getting it right here. The 007 has been strong today. Bennett will set that up through turn 5, turn 6. Managing his race well. He's managed every bit of it well today. The pit stops, the pace, the line, the determination to win. I think Bennett is at the point now where Ronco is got to hope for the worst for him. I just don't think it's going to happen. Bennett has been too solid. I think this trip down to Canada will seal the deal. He gets out of Canada clean. We're in good shape. Teemu Ronco has fought hard today. Trouble early, had to overcome it. Kinsella just made a mistake into Canada. He outbroke himself. And here comes Henry Bennett, absolute beginners, Indy League. Here at Road America, he is going to be your winner today. Hard fought 30-lap battle. Teemu Ronco going to come across in second, and Andrew Kinsella going to get a 3rd place finish. He hangs on to finish 3rd. Jamie Wilson bringing the car home in 4th, and Dennis Garrison. Great run for him. He holds station and will finish 5th. And really right now, Dawson, it's just about the last few cars on track completing their runs cleanly here. David Burns picked up a spot. Michelle Rugenbrink, not Michael. Michelle gets out of the last turn and up the straightaway. He's going to pick up 3 spots today and finish 7th, so it'll be a decent point day for him. And then, as we talked about, David Burns, decent day for him. What'd you see there, Dawson?
David just got through a little bit of sand. He's fine.
All right, so as we let the rest of the guys get around the track here, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be back in just a few moments for the conclusion of this broadcast here from Road America and the Absolute Beginners IndyCar League. Welcome back on the Global SimRacing Channel, here from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America. Beautiful race today, beautiful track, beautiful weather. Dawson, big finishes though, and let's go through that now. Henry Bennett, your big winner today in the Absolute Beginners IndyCar League. And anything but beginners here, buddy. Henry Bennett, the winner. Timu Ronco with a great drive. He'll finish second. Andrew Kinsella will finish third. Jamie Wilson, one of the big movers in the field. He gains 2 spots and finishes fourth today. Dennis Garrison with a good pit strategy there in the end. Will hold station and finish fifth. Jan Schwitter, sixth. Michelle Rugenbrink will finish seventh. Eighth going to go to David Third Degree Burns for eighth place today. Fabian Jungbluth, ninth. Ali Quokka will finish 10th. And then Edgar Sanchinelli picks up 3 spots. He'll finish 11th. Johan Vandenbel finding trouble there late in the race. He'll finish 12th. 13th, going to go to Randy Cheneth. And 14th, Thomas Kick, who had trouble early. And, well, it was a small field today, but it was still a good race. And you know what? We've got some people who have shown up for an interview here. Let's see. Who do we have first? Let's take Timu Ronco. Let's talk to him about his race and see what his impressions here were of Road America. Timu, thanks for joining us, buddy. Congratulations. That was a hard fight today, wasn't it?
Hey guys, yeah, thanks. I had a really bad first lap, so I made it way more hard for myself than I really needed to. But fortunately, I could fight my way back to the second, and then, well, I didn't have enough pace to really challenge Henry. But, well, 1-2 for the team. That's very good result for us.
Yeah, we didn't think that was a big secret, by the way, that you were both 1-2 there. What was the key to the setup for today's track? I mean, if you want to, you don't have to share any deep secrets with us, but what did your team favor as far as downforce or lack of it?
Well, to be honest, me and Henry probably ran a little bit different rear wings. I was a little bit lower, so I think I had a top speed advantage, but otherwise, it's not, well, in testing we tried a very low downforce setups, and those didn't really work very well, so I think we were something like medium downforce.
Well, it obviously worked out for you guys. You talked about the trouble you had on the start. When something like that happens, how do you handle that? I mean, does that increase your intensity? Do you take a couple laps to kind of think about it, or do you just get right back to work?
Yeah, well, the optimal strategy thing to do would be to just get your chin up, and attack hard, but keep your senses about you. But well, after the first little incident at the start, well, not incident, but I lost places there. I was a bit upset, so then that compounded, and I lost a couple more spots. Then I, well, got to work and fought hard to get back to top.
Well, listen, congratulations. Excellent job for the team today, and we will see you in a few weeks. Take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, guys. See you.
All right, and that was Timu Ronco, and just really a solid effort by him today. And Dawson has got down there and I believe has caught up with Andrew Kinsella.
Yep, Andrew, thanks for stopping by. Great race for you. I guess podium finish, you can't be too upset, but boy, them 2 guys up in front, Ronco and Bennett, were fast, weren't they?
Man, this track is so much fun in this car. Just so much fun. Yeah, Timu and Henry, they were probably a little bit faster than me. I was able to get around Timu at the start, and then I just made like 3 or 4 mistakes that probably cost me being able to do battle with them there at the end. I was able to stay with Henry. I know I wasn't able to pass him, but I was able to stay pretty close to him, which for me is very encouraging because they're normally at least a half a second, if not more, faster than I am. So, man, I love this car and I love this track. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, so we saw a lot of guys having troubles with braking and the car's just spinning out a lot. Did you have any problems with that, maybe in practice or anything?
Just self-induced. Basically, at this track, you have to be very, very aggressive on the brakes, and you're almost trail braking and using the brakes to rotate the car through a lot of these corners, especially like turn 5, for instance. You're almost using the brake as a way to rotate the car around the corner. So it's very, very easy to just overcook it just that little bit, and if you do, the car will just snap around on you.
So it's sounding like that's brake bias, and guys are moving that brake bias back to get them rear tires to get that little extra turn.
A little bit, yeah, and then it's just like you're right on that threshold. I know you probably saw me a couple of times. I just locked up the brakes just that little bit and nearly lost the car, just because, yeah, you're right on that very fine edge in order to go fast around here.
All right, so we're in Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin, so I have 2 questions for you, Andrew. Number 1, this should be a yes. I hope it is. Have you seen a cow in person?
Yes.
All right, you're good. Number 2, have you eaten a cheese curd?
I mean, the national dish of Canada is poutine, so the answer has to be yes.
Right, good. You pass, sir. So great race, great answers. We got a little bit of a break here now. It's taking off for Memorial Day, but we'll be back at Texas. You ready for that?
Yeah, I love the ovals. They're really, I'm a little bit stronger on the ovals at this point in my iRacing career than I am on the road courses. But if I can put in some more performances like that on a road course, I'll be happy.
All right, thanks for stopping by. Andrew Kinsella finishing 3rd and taking that final podium spot today. Sean, what a race.
Yeah, it really was. Small field, but a good, solid race. You know what? We didn't see a lot of trouble, just the braking, and we kind of sorted that out with Kinsella. But yeah, it was a lot of fun out there today, and certainly happy to see Henry and Timu put in a good effort for their team. But like you said, it's time to take a little bit of break here from the series for a few weeks. And folks, if you're watching still, do us a favor, subscribe, hit that red subscribe button here to GSRC. Keep up to date with us. Listen, a lot of people to thank. Of course, we got to start with the Absolute Beginners League. Look them up on iRacing, not just the Indy series, but they also have the ABL where they run the Skippies. And if you're not familiar with them, like I said, look them up on iRacing. They are one of your official, not official, but one of the iRacing leagues that you can find in the league section. We want to thank the companies, equipment, and software that you see on your screen now and that we use on all of our broadcasts. And that includes the original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel. And that is always thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them, Dawson.
ABIL returns from a short break. June 3rd from the high banks of Texas Motor Speedway. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action, and we hope that you will join us. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com and find time to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel.
All right, Dawson, and well, finally on behalf of you, Dawson, Neverside Ty Brock, our director Amjad Yaman, our camera artist Dougie Beard. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle for old buddy Soup. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.